Karen.
Yes.
Do you remember when I told you that a deck of playing cards might hold the secrets to the universe and you rolled your eyes so hard I thought they'd get stuck?
Nope.
Me either. But today's guest might just make you a believer regardless.
Okay.
See, she's not just shuffling cards for fun. She's actually decoding your soul's blueprint from them.
With cards.
With cards. A regular deck of cards.
Regular cards.
Yep. Apparently that Queen of Hearts you've been pulling, well, she's got opinions about your past lives.
Ooh.
And don't even get me started about the Joker.
That's your card.
This woman's one of the top 40 cardologers in the world. Yes, that's a thing. And she's using this ancient system to help kids thrive and adults understand them better. But cardology can also uncover personality traits like past life karma, soul contracts, and even your life purpose, all based on your birth date. Forget astrology. This is next level metaphysical science, and it might just change the way you see yourself and your kids forever.
And
honestly,
cards.
And cards, yes. Honestly, after this one, you might never look at a deck of cards the same way again. So cue that mysterious music.
My name is Will.
And I'm Karen.
And unlike Mulder and Scully,
We both want to believe.
so we've embarked on a journey of discovery.
We've talked to people deeply entrenched in the spiritual and metaphysical world.
We've thrown ourselves into weird and wonderful experiences. I even joined a coven of witches.
And wait, you joined a coven?
Yep, all in the interest of finding something
Anything.
that will prove that there's something beyond this physical,
three-dimensional world we all live in.
This is the Skeptic
Skeptic
Metaphysicians.
Hey there, I'm Will.
And I'm Karen.
Thanks for joining us on another fun-filled episode of the Skeptic Metaphysicians. Today's guest is here to reveal that a humble deck of playing cards that might be sitting in your junk drawer might actually be an ancient mystical tool for decoding your soul's blueprint. Her name is Dr. Donna Webb, and she's a leading expert in the fascinating field of cardology. It's the ancient science hidden within a deck of regular playing cards.
Wow.
Now, recognized by the International Association of Cardology as one of the top 40 cardologers in the world, Dr. Donna blends this wisdom with her doctorate in education to help unlock the unique potential of children and young adults.
I'm speechless.
I know, I can see that. This this might actually be a first.
I think
don't know.
it is, maybe ever.
Well, with a doctorate in education and a deep passion for guiding children towards the highest potential, she has fused ancient wisdom with modern insight in her book, Unlocking the Potential of Children, and she's here to show us how our birth card, yep, you heard that right, our birth card reveals everything from personality traits and life lessons to karmic patterns and even past lives. Dr. Donna, welcome to the Skeptic Metaphysicians. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you, Will and Karen, for having me on the show. This is a great opportunity.
This will be fun for
I'm
sure.
excited.
Yeah.
This is something totally different for me.
This is going to make our monthly boys poker game night so different.
You're going to get the insight. You won't even have to cheat. You'll just know. That guy. Huh?
Oh yeah.
All right.
My hairdresser likes to have a copy of my book in her salon so they can open it up and look people's personalities up and just laugh.
Wow.
Wow.
You think there'd be like a privacy code with this kind of thing, right?
No, you got the tool. Use it, baby.
Right.
All right. Well, Doc, please help us here. How in the world could a deck of cards possibly be the blueprint of our soul?
Well, that's a great question, Will. And actually, the playing cards were never meant to be used to play games, to play poker, if you will. They are actually a visual representation of a system, an ancient system, as you mentioned, that represents the 52 different life paths and life lessons a soul is to experience in order to gain spiritual enlightenment.
Wait, there are 52
Wow.
paths?
So then there's no room for the Joker. That'd be 53.
50. Well, that Joker
Or is
slips
there?
in there. Maybe the Joker encompasses all of it.
Well, let's ask her.
Yeah, let's ask the expert.
Yeah.
Yes.
There actually is a Joker card, and that's associated with the December 31st birthday. Given that I'm an educator, I look as the Joker card as being the card of like the year where you get to repeat a grade.
So you think
It should be leap year.
I was just going to say that. Exactly. I was going to say it should be a leap year card instead of December 31st. But all right. So, I mean, I find it interesting that there are 52 paths because A, we do believe that there are many paths to the same truth, but I think we've been on the air for 4 years, and I think we've explored way more than 52.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's a different type of path.
but
Maybe.
it's a modality
Yeah,
versus a
big
life
difference.
path. Okay, so we don't have time to go over all 52, but but can you give us kind of an idea of what kind of life paths we're talking about here?
Okay, so the way that it works is that the date of birth for a person is associated with a playing card. And that playing card will reveal a person's strengths, their weaknesses, their past lives related karma, their life purpose, their life challenge, their journey, if you will, in order to spiritually grow. And then the idea being that you learn lessons in different suits. So, for example, a person that is born as a heart playing card, their lessons and life challenges, but also gifts, tend to revolve around love and relationships. And so there are things to be learned in the 4 different suits. Clubs rule communication, knowledge. Diamonds rule values and money, and spades rule work and also like health matters. So the soul has to learn all of these different lessons in order to reach a point where they can do other work. So it's not that they end their incarnations. They might incarnate in a different way or work on the other side as a spiritual guide.
Okay, so I'm going to take a guess, and we won't find out until later in the show, but I'm going to guess that you are hearts and I am clubs.
I would have guessed you as clubs.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll find out in a minute. But okay, you had a question.
Well, no, I was going to say, how do you know what your birth card is?
So it's associated with the day that you're born. So as an example, I was born June 18th. And of course, I'm not going to get the year. You don't need the year.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And so the card that is associated with that date of birth is a Queen of Clubs.
So
Now that card, being a club card, is the mother of intuition.
So is it a range, or like June 17th would be a different card or a different suit?
June 17th would be a King of Club. So there's a
boy.
pattern. So there is a pattern. And I happen to have like a chart that gives all the different birth dates as well as the affiliated birth cards that go along with them.
Okay, so
All you needed to hear was
we
King.
found
Like,
out.
his head is swelling.
We
as
found
we
out a
speak.
little earlier than we expected. All I heard was that I'm a king. That's all I heard. So.
Everything else is walk like the Charlie Brown. Walk, king. Walk.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So Will, your birthday is June 17th?
It might very well be. Yes.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Yes. I just know I'm a king, so it doesn't matter.
and
Beyond
you
that,
are.
in fact, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure.
We're out. No.
All right, so that's okay. Interesting. And see, so far I was right. I was a club. We'll find out yours later. I don't want to give everything away, but
Oh, yeah. So you got to go first.
yes,
Nice.
For the first time, you always get to go first. This is my time. Okay. Anyway, and it was a pure luck that we stumbled on. Her birthday was the 18th, the day after. I had to ask.
okay.
You know. Okay. So you're shaking your head, Doc. What's in your mind?
Yes. Well, I'm thinking that the system is pretty spot on in that the purpose of someone who is born as a King of Club is to lead in communication and knowledge. And it is a person who is highly intelligent. Okay, I think I see the head swelling a little bit at this point.
You're starting to get smooshed out of the camera.
Yeah, is your lens wide enough?
We've got a wide angle. That's okay.
Interestingly, though, the date of birth is also associated with a second card. So the first card, your birth card, is how you are on the inside, your personality, your authentic self. The second card that's associated with a person's birthday is called the planetary ruling card. And that is similar to like your rising sign in astrology. It's how you appear to others, how you show up in the world. Oftentimes that second card speaks more to personality traits associated with one's profession. And so I know for you, Will, that second card is a Jack of Diamond, and that's the salesperson card. It's also a social media card.
Oh, good Lord.
Why do I feel like, I don't know. I don't even know. It's almost like she called me and asked me stuff, but she didn't.
And it's not like I paid her to say any of this stuff either. So just so we're clear, I just want to reiterate I'm a king.
It's gonna be a long night.
But then how do you know? Just by the birth date, you know the primary card and the rising sign card?
Correct.
Ah.
So because imagine there's 52 cards and there's more than 52 days in a year.
Right.
So what makes a king of club who was born in June different from like a king of club that was born in another month is that second card, which is based upon the zodiac sign that rules that particular date.
Huh. Okay. Now, how precise does this? I mean, does this?
It sounded pretty precise to me.
This is.
Well, maybe not a king part, but.
I mean, can people like rule their lives by it?
I would never say something so extreme as rule your life by it, but it is actually very predictive in nature. So it's predictive in a couple of different ways. First of all, it's predictive in certain temperaments that a child will hold, or another way to say that would be the personality traits that a person of a given birth card would have. And there are obviously like high vibrations of personality traits and lower vibration of those personality traits. And that can be very informative as far as how you can understand a person, what gifts they have, what maybe relational challenges or difficulties they might have, even with you, because there are certain cards that are incompatible with one another. But the most, I think, accurate piece of this system that we haven't talked about is the fact that each birth card happens to have a yearly spread of energies that are predestined, that they'll experience. And I have a computer software system that allows me to look at those yearly energies. Now, when I say yearly energies, I don't mean a calendar year. I mean like a birthday year. So like my yearly energies for my age started on my birthday, June 18th, and will continue till June 17th in the following year. And those 19 cards of energies are highly accurate. So when I do readings with people, I'm looking at those yearly spreads of energies to talk about their lives and to leverage those energies in the best way possible. Those energies are like taken into your body, and then you get to manifest those energies because of free will. And there are higher and lower manifestations of all these energies. So I'll give you an example. So 3 years ago, looking at my yearly spread of energies, my one main card of energy was the Three of Club. And the Three of Club energy is the card of creative expression. It's the writer's card. It happens to be Stephen King's birth card. Lucky guy, right?
Yeah.
And so taking in that energy, I could manifest that in its higher expression of creative expression, such as writing. The lower manifestation of that same energy is stress and anxiety. And if you think about it, those two conditions are connected. If you're having a year where the energies that are accumulating inside you are creative expression, you have all these ideas, and yet you don't express them to the external world, you just keep them bottled up, it can create stress. So knowing that I had that as my main energy 3 years ago, I decided, well, gosh, I don't want to stress out. So I'm going to write a book.
So you have a choice. Oh, darn, I got to write a book. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Now, are these spreads every year? It's a different spread, or you do one spread and that follows you year over year?
It's a different spread of energies for your particular card. So to kind of get into the weeds a little bit here, There's something called the grand solar spread. And that is, think of it as a pattern of all 52 cards. And the card that you're born into, your personality traits are determined depending upon where you show up in that grand solar spread, your position, if you will. And then every year it works like an algorithm. The grand solar spread cards shift. The cards get shuffled, if you will. And so your position within that spread changes. And that's where the yearly energy spreads come out of, is that algorithm. So being a queen of club, the energies that I experience at age 30 would be exactly the same for somebody else who's a queen of club at age 30.
Wow. Okay. That's fascinating. I had no idea.
It really is. So I'm going to ask you a question that I'm sure you've been asked a million times, and I'm probably going to feel silly for asking it, but here goes. So you said that these cards were originally, or that cards were originally not meant as playing cards, do they have any similarity, even in origin, to tarot cards?
That's a really great question, Karen.
Not silly at all.
I, as you said, maybe not a million times, but I've had that question a whole lot.
Yeah.
What's fascinating to me is that a lot of people have never heard of cardology, and yet most people have heard of tarot.
Mm-hmm.
Bingo.
Yeah, same.
Tarot is a spin-off of playing cards. Several years ago, I was in New York City, and I just so happened to know ahead of time that the Whitney Art Museum was going to be displaying the Rider-Waite tarot cards there, the original artwork from Pamela Coleman Smith.
Wow.
And so I went to go see them, and I was really excited that they had done a marvelous job in the exhibit of explaining that tarot cards are a spin-off of playing cards. Now, you're right, there are similarities, and the similarities being mostly with the minor arcana cards of the tarot. So as an example, the meaning of like the Two of Cups would be similar to the card energy of the Two of Hearts.
Sure.
Okay. I just had this image of like how, and this is probably wrong, but it just popped into my head, maybe someone doing a reading with regular cards, and then someone who's like the Inquisition, they come in to bust it up, and they're like, oh, we're just playing. And then eventually they became playing cards. In my mind, that's how that happened.
I love that.
Very cool. So you use these to help kids. I find that super interesting because, when you think of tarot cards, for example, it's a divination tool, but you use them to do good in the world. How does cardology help kids?
Well, the way that I discovered cardology to begin with happened a little over 30 years ago. And at the time I was a middle school teacher.
Oh, no, you shouldn't have said that. You should, like you were 2 years old or something, right?
Yeah. And I still don't have gray hair, even though I worked with middle school students. But as you can imagine, working with middle schoolers is tough. Or I like to finally call them the hormonally challenged.
Yes.
But I was also teaching inner city kids in Houston, Texas. And I had a particularly challenging group of kids that year. So one day I found myself in the Aquarian Age bookstore, and I just put it out to the universe, like, please help me, give me tools, like anything. And I came across this book that was talking to me, pick me. So I opened the book, and it was on cardology. And the book explained the personality traits of all 52 cards. And I read the description of my personality based on being a queen of club, and I couldn't believe how accurate it was. So I bought the book, and I decided, I'm thinking this book could give me a jump start on understanding my students better. So I, of course, being a teacher that gets all of their background information, I had access to their birth date. So I put together index cards for each student with their birth date and their card. And I started not only learning about the personality traits with real humans, but I was using the knowledge that I was reading about cardology to see how I could understand them and manage them better. And I started with very simple things, such as like seating charts.
Mm-hmm.
Like people or kids who are 7 cards can be empaths. They're like sponges and they can take in a lot of negative energy. So I would make sure that I did not put a troublesome student next to a 7 birth card.
Mm-hmm.
And I started using it for dealing with conflict resolution. How could I best approach this kid knowing their personality from their cards, their high and low personality traits? And then it just morphed over years of how I could psychologically work with them better, how I could build educational strategies that met their needs better based on just understanding their personality through the lens of the cards. And I can tell you that using it for over 30 years in teaching, I became a more effective teacher knowing about cardology.
That's incredible. And I have a question, but before I ask the question, I just want to point out the way you phrased that question kind of implied that tarot was not used for good. So I want to make sure that people understand you were not implying that.
Oh, no. I meant the practical 3D
Right.
type of good.
Okay, I just want to make sure that
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah,
nobody got the wrong impression.
Absolutely. In fact, I'm a big fan of tarot
We've got
cards.
several decks here.
Yes.
So then my question is, when you were doing this and working with the students and it's giving you all these results, did you tell anybody or were you just kind of doing this on your own?
I was doing it on my own, very much so. There were probably a few colleagues that I shared this with, but I was careful about who I talked to about this.
Right.
Fast forward though, years down the line, I went back to school and got my doctorate degree in education, and most recently was working as a teacher educator at a Christian private school. And I did not talk about that.
Nope.
I was going to say, they'll take that doctorate away from you in a minute.
Wow.
Cool. Well, now that you are, you're absolutely coming out of the closet for now, right? There's no
People
surprise.
are going to know after this.
Right. Have you had any pushback on this? As a doctor of education, have you had a lot of people raise their eyebrows and say, maybe we need to defund public education?
Or defund cards?
Well, actually, when I started the writing of my book, I was still a professor. And I did tell a colleague about it. And they did kind of raise their eyebrows a bit over it. And I thought, you know what? I have to be my authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
And my yearly card energies were showing that I needed to transition into this work. And so I knew that I just needed to step into it. And that if anything, I could be a bridge.
Yeah.
Think about it. I was a science teacher. My doctorate degree is in STEM education. My research interests were, I have written papers and research in engineering education. I'm a highly analytical person, a highly analytical card. I'm the skeptic.
Yeah.
Right?
How could you possibly be the skeptic if I'm the skeptic?
Wow.
Wow.
So you're doing this work and you're getting results that you feel are positive and showing how this works. Can you give us an example, like one maybe specific example of something that you're like, wow, this is really working?
Yeah, great question, Karen. A couple of years ago, I had some clients come to me because they were having some emotional and school problems with their 5-year-old. And I come to find by listening to their story that their son was in a chaotic environment in that they were delayed in a move. And what happened is that he had to start kindergarten for the first time in one school. And then after a month, they moved and he was thrown into a whole nother school district and a whole nother classroom. And the teacher was coming to the parents complaining that their son was interrupting other students. He was getting out of his chair at inappropriate times and socializing. And it got to the point where she was recommending medication and testing for ADHD. So they came to me with this and wanting to know what I would have to say about it based on Cardology. I looked up his birth date, lo and behold, found he was a 4 of diamond. And the 4 of diamond birth card is called the Stability and Values and Money card. And it is like the furthest child you would expect to have ADHD. And by the way, there are cards that have a tendency toward ADHD, but it is not a 4 of diamond. So I explained that to them. But 4 cards, because numerology is part of cardology, 4s are all about the need for security and stability, and his environment was not stable at the time. So I gave them a couple pieces of advice. I said, first of all, you are still living in boxes, so I need you guys to prioritize organizing the space in his room and also the family room, so he feels a little bit more secure based on that. I need you to start having some consistent times of having dinner because they weren't doing that. And then finally, I asked them to go back to the teacher and see if the teacher could reteach what was taught the first 2 weeks. See, all teachers know that all of the routines, the schedules, the structures, the expectations are all taught the first 2 weeks of school. Well, he missed out on that. And he needed those expectations to be very clear and consistent. And so they went to the teacher, asked if she could do that and attach it to a behavior plan. They did that. And then after 6 weeks, I heard back from them and they said that everything was totally back to normal. He had settled into his new school and was thriving.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Awesome. Yeah, it's amazing. I keep guessing. I keep trying to guess. I think you're either 4 or 7 of hearts, but we won't go there just yet. We got more questions to go before.
No.
So far, I've got those 2 guesses, but okay, Doc, have you ever been wrong? Like, have you done a spread and like, oh, this is not at all me or anything like that?
I have had that, and there can be some explanations of that too. For example, birth dates might not be completely accurate. There can be cases where someone is born like perhaps outside of the United States and the time was recorded on a different date than the actual birth date. Like if you were born close to midnight, but then the birth certificate shows that you're born actually the next day, there can be that problem.
Oh, wow, that's specific.
Also, what I have found too that is true is that sometimes people can lean more into their planetary ruling card as their personality. And so when I talk to them about their basic personality traits, which of course I'm doing by looking at their birth card, it doesn't resonate with them. But it might just be because they do lean more into that second card. What's interesting is I've actually had a couple of different readings with sets of twins who have the exact same birthday, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And what I have found is that they're different because one tends to lean more into the birth card personality, the other leans more into their second card, the planetary ruling card, because they don't want to be exactly the same. They want to have some autonomy. And so if one of those twins came to me and I'm telling them about their personality of one card that doesn't fit, then it doesn't fit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
wow.
That's intense. So basically what I'm hearing is that if it's wrong, it's them. It's not the cards. I mean, it sounds like you're very sure that these. I mean, that this really doesn't imprint on someone.
I think as far as the basic personality traits, yes, I do think that is definitely a given, predestined, fated type of thing. But of course, there's free will, so people can affect their path in life based on that. So,
Right. How about kind of astrology? A lot of people say, well, it's not just your where you, actually, you mentioned someone might not have been born in the United States. Is this like if it's someone from Europe, would it still work the same based on that birth date there, or is it different?
it would be the same based on their birth date there.
Okay,
But
so it doesn't matter what country you're born in; it's just the date of your birth. Okay.
Oh, okay.
right.
So then, in astrology, they say that they explain away the differences. Yeah, I'm a Gemini, but I have strong risings and all this kinds of stuff. So it helps me to be a little bit less Gemini than most people that are born under my sun. Karen, I'm watching you. But they say they explain that away by environmental reasons, right? You were raised this certain way, you're raised in a certain place, so it kind of moved you away from that type of personality. Is this similar or not at all?
No, that is similar.
Okay.
In fact, the New York Times recently had an article about the whole nature nurture thing. I don't know if you heard about it at all. And it's definitely both. It's a combination of both. I completely agree with that. So as an example of that, someone who is born a six of diamond, a six of diamonds have a real interesting personality, and yet they're highly competitive and they always want to achieve when compared to others. And so they make fantastic athletes. And so an adult in their environment could see that quality about them and then reinforce it. You see? So it's both. It's nurture and nature.
Okay.
An example of that would be Becky Ledecky. She is a six of diamond. So, or Katie Ledecky. I'm sorry,
Okay.
Katie Ledecky,
Right.
who's the most awarded gold medalist swimmer. So she's an example of that, and I'm sure she probably experienced people in her life that saw those traits in her and then nurtured them.
Right.
And that's where my book comes in, is that I explain the different personality traits and those higher traits and explain how adults can nurture those higher traits, but then also manage the lower traits.
So could someone theoretically get your book and use it to maybe find love, find a good partner that matches with their personalities?
Not so much, not that book. Although there are other cardology books that do that. And I do readings where I do look at that. I also have some software that can analyze two different cards and see where there's compatibility.
Oh, okay.
And the other thing that's really interesting about the system, in the background here, although I know people that don't have the video can't see this, I have my life spread. And what's interesting about a person's life spread based on their birth card is that people who are significant in your life show up in your life spread. These are people that you have a soul contract with.
Oh.
So I happen to have in mind my two main love relationships. My first husband was associated with a 9 of club birth card, and he was my reward card in my life spread.
Oh boy, but he'd never let you live that one down.
Right.
Says the king.
Exactly. And my second husband, my first husband died sadly, but my second husband is also in my life spread. So these are people you make soul contracts with. So I can look at a person's life spread and see if a person that they're wanting to or in a relationship with, if they show up there and where they show up matters, because that will explain a lot of their relational dynamics. the best type of relationship energy to have with someone that's in your life spread is a moon card. So like my moon card would be someone who's an ace of club. The moon card is a person that is, since the moon rules emotions, is going to be someone that will be always supportive of you. An example of that would be Hillary and Bill Clinton. Hillary gets a bad rep for standing by her man, right? But I understand their relational dynamics because Hillary is Bill's moon cards in his life spread. So it literally is her role to play to be supportive of him no matter what.
This
Wow.
freaking blows my mind because it's so hard not to all of a sudden fall into like, oh my God, we're just automatons. We're just slaves to what the cards say, right? You know, we got free will, but that was a lot to stand by. And,
That was a lot to stand by.
She did it, right? So it's like, wow, like how much influence these cards actually have on us. It's hard to get around that. You know?
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't, like, in my opinion is not that the cards have influence on us. It's that the cards are kind of giving us, telling us what our story can look like. You know, or this is
Right.
kind of where we fit, but not like you. They're not making you do something.
Yeah, I guess I'm an extreme
Right.
kind of guy. But
Yeah, no, Karen, I like how you say that. It's a story that unfolds. And I would add that it's more like the story of your life path that unfolds, that these energies are to keep you on that path. Another quick example of that, I had a client who came to me and she was wanting a new job. She was really struggling in her current position. She was in a leadership position, but her colleagues were being very argumentative and she didn't want to work with them anymore. And she'd applied for all these jobs and just was hitting roadblocks. So I looked at her card and found that she was a 5 of club. And the 5 of club is called the emotional, well, more like restlessness of the mind card. So wanting to change jobs is, you know, pretty common for a 5 of club. But the gift of a 5 of club is that they're highly critical thinkers. They are able to take any kind of process or system idea and like pull it apart and see like what's its flaws. It's such a gift. But what I found out in having a discussion with her is that she was being perceived by her colleagues as being critical of them, of their ideas, of their procedures, of their ways of thinking. And then looking at her yearly spread of energies, I did not see any new job cards. What I saw was that she needed to be working on her communication skills. That was the path for her. Because there's this manifestation myth out there, I think, that you can just manifest anything, right? I'm going to manifest a new job. Well, that's not where her energies were that year. She was supposed to work on her leadership skills and her communication skills. So we talked about how it's not what you say, but how you say it. And so she did that. I saw that she had more new job kind of energies coming up a year and a half, 2 years later. And sure enough, I got an email from her 2 months ago saying that she was moving to Chicago because that new job arrived and she was off to Chicago to start this new job.
wow, very cool.
That is cool. So just, this is like, it's more of like a technical question. So the cards, do they all go in order? Like you both had clubs. Like, is it like all the clubs throughout June and July, then it goes to hearts, or are they all just kind of mixed up?
There is an order. So it starts off. So January 1st is associated with a King of Spade. And then January 2nd is a Queen of Spade. So it goes through all of the spade cards, then the diamond cards from King to Ace, then all of the club cards, and then the heart cards. And then it repeats.
Okay.
Gotcha.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
So interestingly, today is associated with an Ace of Spades. It's an Ace of Spades day. And the Ace of Spades card is, guess what? The metaphysical card.
What?
Yeah.
I think you hear the Twilight Zone.
I think so too.
So based on this new information, I no longer think you're a heart.
You don't think I'm a heart anymore?
Nope. no, but okay, we'll see.
How long are you gonna make me wait? That's just so not. Cool.
know.
Not much longer.
I think now's good.
Not much longer. It's just one more question, but it's a quick one. So first, you are very brave putting your life spread out there for anyone to record and screenshot and take a look and use your book to find out how to, But have you ever done a reading for a couple, and they sit down and you do the spread and you go, oh boy.
I think she'd have a better poker face than that. Oh, cards and poker.
Yeah, there you go. I'll bet you that flushed that question right out of her.
Actually, Will,
Uh-oh.
I had just that scenario unfold about 6 months ago.
Boy.
I had a couple come to me at a metaphysical and wellness fair in Oregon. And one of the partners in this couple was a fellow practitioner. She was an evolutionary astrologer, and I knew her through other people. So I was looking at their. I did like a relationship connection because they were having some marital issues, and I looked at their yearly spreads, and I was like, "Oh, I see what's going on here."
Check,
But
please.
yeah, exactly. And I chose not to say anything until later. So I went to the friend that I had in common with this practitioner, and I was able to get her to talk to this other person and facilitate a separate meeting with this practitioner. And I explained to her that what I saw in the cards. And what I saw in her yearly spread of cards was she had a 3 of heart, 9 of heart, and Venus. And a 3 of heart is in Venus, because Venus rules love and relationships, tends to mean that there's infidelity going on. And the 9 of heart is the divorce card in Venus.
Oh.
So,
Womp womp.
so she was like, well, I don't think he's cheating on me. And I said, well, this is just the card energies. So, let's just put a pin in this. And then several months later, she got back to me and said that because of what I said to her, she started to be suspicious. And sure enough, found that he was heavily involved in an affair, and they were in the process of divorce.
Wow.
Yikes. Like, you weren't, like, I would be afraid of saying anything in case, because that might open you up to, like.
Exactly. But that's why I didn't say anything when they were sitting together asking me about something completely different, because their question wasn't, is there an affair? Is there divorce?
Right.
They were just wanting to know the relational dynamics.
Gotcha.
But I felt the need to say something because I knew her. She was an acquaintance of mine.
Got it. Right. Okay. All right, Karen.
All right.
Wait. All right. I think we've
it's
made her
finally time?
wait long enough.
Yes.
Right. Okay, Doc.
July 3rd.
July 3rd. Okay. Get my chart out here.
Oh, God.
Okay, I kid you not. You're a queen.
No fair.
Yes, you're a queen of diamond.
Oh.
So the queen of diamond, all queens are here. Their purpose in life is to serve others. Kings are supposed to rule. Queens are to serve. So being a club, I serve through communication and knowledge. Where you serve, Karen, is through values. So, and through business, because the Queen of Diamond is also the successful businesswoman card. It's very entrepreneurial. It is all about being resourceful. So a business, for example, where you teach people even to be financially resourceful with their money. Susie Orman, who you probably have heard of, she's the same card. She's a Queen of Diamond.
Wow.
You all, and so you guys are on the throne together, right? Like right next to each other.
Now, she was supposed to be born on July 4th. Does it matter that she was born on the 3rd instead? She was induced. Her mom was induced.
You're trying to take my throne away.
No. I'm just curious.
I resent that.
I'm curious. I'm very curious.
No, it literally is the date that the birth occurs.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I've had even clients who are pregnant and find out that they have to have a C-section, want to know, what's the range of different, cards that they possibly will be
Right.
managing.
Okay. So I'm curious, can you tell just by that birthday what her rising card would be?
Yeah. So your second card, your planetary ruling card, is an Ace of Diamond. And the Ace of Diamond is the search for values and money card. It's the card of the entrepreneur. It's the card of the kid who is doing the lemonade stand that you see, who is just really motivated by money. It's a very ambitious energy. It's also what I love about the Ace of Diamond energy too, is that it's a very forward thinking kind of an energy. So someone who's an Ace of Diamonds, they're not worried about like mistakes they made in the past or things they did in the past. They're moving forward in life. They're like, they embrace life with a zeal and an energy. There's a lot of famous athletes that are aces too, because of that energy, that drive, that oneness that is true to an ace.
All right.
Very interesting.
How's that feel?
I don't know. I don't know. It's exciting. I've got some stuff to explore.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of folks that have been listening to the show of late have been hearing a new thing that we're doing here and there, and that is we're adding a couple of curveball questions. Just questions that make you think. So if you wouldn't mind, obviously if there's any of these questions you prefer not to answer, just say next, and we'll go ahead and edit them right out of the show and move on to the next one. So are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. The first question. If you were stranded on a desert island and could only take one card from the deck with you, which one would it be and why?
Oh, one card from the deck.
Which in essence is kind of a takeoff on if you were on a desert island, who would you bring with you? You know?
Exactly.
Okay.
I would bring someone who is an 8 of spade card. And the reason I would do that is because the 8 of spade, it has the power over like perseverance. They are physically very fit and healthy, and they just won't ever give up. So that would be the person who would build the boat for me to get off the island.
Start the fire.
Gotcha. So definitely not me then. Okay, got it. All right. I'm the king. I just sit on the throne and say, "Come on, Donna, what are you doing? Are you going to build it here?" All right. Second question. Is there a wild card in the deck that always keeps you on your toes, like the spiritual rebel or trickster energy?
Oh, yes. That would be the 3 of diamond.
Oh.
So in cardology, the person who writes the most about cardology is Robert Lee Camp. And in his books, he says over and over again, the person that is born associated with the 3 of diamond has the most difficult life path. I call it's the financial creativity card, but it's also the card that I call the card of chaos, because they just walk through life and just throw bombs everywhere. You know?
Are you sure
And
I'm not a 3 of diamonds? Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. I would have thought that was a Joker.
I just call you Maurice.
All right, and then finally, this is an easy one. I mean, just out of curiosity, do you play like blackjack or poker or anything, or is like the cards kind of hold sacrosanct to you, and that would not be in your favor?
Yeah, I mean, in the past, obviously, I've played a lot of games with cards, and I always have had an affinity to playing solitaire. So I do play solitaire on my computer to this very day. But I also do a lot of meditating with the cards, and I do my own what's called weekly spreads, where I will meditate every Sunday, and then I will shuffle my cards and do like a weekly energy reading for myself. So I use them more in that way.
Gotcha.
So I'm guessing slapjack is out of the question.
Or DS.
Oh, wow. So cool.
Yeah, very cool. So if those who are listening or watching right now are interested in finding their birth card, is there a resource for them to be able to do that?
Yes, Will. They can go to my website, which is destinycardsystem.com, and click on what's your card, and they'll be able to look up their birth and their planetary ruling card.
Wow. And if they want to take it a step further and get a spread from you, then they just reach out to you for that. Is that right?
Yes, I have different products and services. I do relational reports for people. And my most common type of product on my website are my personalized consultations, and they're 90 minutes. And so I can do that via Zoom. I have clients across the United States and other countries. And I still do in-person sessions as well.
Gotcha. And then your book, tell us the title of that again.
It's called Unlocking the Potential of Children, How Cardology Can Help You Nurture the Development of a Child's Authentic Self.
So
Wow.
It just rolls off your tongue.
Well, I like it because you know what you're getting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And people can find that anywhere?
They can find it on Amazon or on my website.
Okay,
Great.
awesome. Well, this has been fascinating. Doc, before we go, I've got to ask. Now you know both of our cards. Are we compatible?
Yes, you are. Yeah. Yes.
I was getting ready to drop an edit point here too.
Yeah. Mostly it has to do with the fact that you're both court cards, because people who are born court cards have a lot of power and energy to themselves, a lot of ambition. And so you respect each other's ambition and the role that you have to play in your community. So yes, compatibility for sure.
Oh, thank God. Okay. All right. Dr. Donna Webb, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been super eye-opening, a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
And a little scary. I'm
Thank
not gonna lie. So thanks for being on the show with us.
Thank you, Will and Karen. It's been a pleasure.
Likewise. Take care.
Okay, well, that does it for this episode of the Skeptic Metaphysicians. Thanks for coming along on this journey beyond the veil. If you're enjoying the ride, don't forget to visit us at skepticmetaphysician.com to dive even deeper into the world of metaphysics and spiritual awakenings. Follow us also on your favorite social media platforms. We're always sharing mind-expanding content and behind-the-scenes fun. And if you're craving connection with like-minded seekers, join our community. The link is on the show notes. And hey, if you're feeling the vibes, help others find us by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. It makes a huge difference, and we would be so grateful. Until next time, keep questioning, keep seeking, but most of all, keep your mind open.